Hello, my amiable students. Today we'll be talking about tectonic processes and major continental landforms. So first, we are going to start with topography. Topography is a piece of land that is either leveled, undulating, or high above the sea level. But this piece of land or this topography can undergo some certain orogenic evolution or some certain tectonic processes. Tectonic processes are processes that tend to change the level of topography or the way the topography is looking above the sea level. So some certain occurrences that can take place on the Earth's surface are folding, faulting, and magmatic intrusion. If this is a plate or a stratum of the Earth and this is another, when two of them are compressed together or when compressional force tend to affect the two, it will now make one to slip on top of another. But without slipping, if compressional force is acting on a very hard piece of topography, when it compresses it together, the force will come from the left and the right. It will now make the plates to now be squeezed or folded. So when we describe folding, we say folding are stresses that are set up on the Earth's surface through compressional force that tends to shorten the Earth's surface and makes it to fold in areas of weakness. So folding can be caused by some factors. One of such factors is magmatic intrusion. When magma comes from lava or the bathysphere that is of high pressure and high temperature, when it falls through the Earth strata or Earth layers, it will now make the top surface, that is lithosphere, to now be folded. That folding will now cause wrinkling of the crust or wrinkling of the topography. Some parts will now be extended upward, while some parts will now be going downward, forming a trough. So the part that is extended upwards or that is protruding upward will now form a crest. That crest that is high will now be called an anticline. The crust will form a kind of dome or a crest that is upland form, while it will have an upland and adjacent lowlands or valley that are U-shaped. Then apart from that crest that is called anticline, we also have a downfold that is forming a trough like a U shape. That one is called a syncline. But there are also forms of folding that are complicated. We have a part where the upfold overextended or extended upward. It will go up too much. We refer to that crest as overfold. Then we have another complicated fold that has a tier or a plane under that tends to make the earth crust to look like this. Then there will now be a tier or a fault in between the crust. So we refer to that tier as a crack or a fissure, while we refer to that complicated fold as a recumbent. The overextended top of a recumbent fold is called a nap. Different degrees of fold tend to occur through stresses that are set up on the Earth's surface by compressional force. And we said that compressional force tends to shorten the Earth crust. Apart from folding, we also have another tectonic process that is referred to as faulting. Faulting is when there is a compressional force acting on the layers or the tectonic plates or the plates of the topography. That compressional force will tend to make a block to go up and two other blocks to slip down after a tear or a crack or fissure has appeared on two sides of the block. So when such faults appear on either side of the block, one block will go down while the other block will go up. So it will now be as if a 4-story building or a 5-story building is in a neighborhood where you have bungalows. So that particular landform will now be extended upward, while other places will now fall down. It will now look as if there is a height of mountain coming down with a steep-sided valley. The steep-sided valley will be like this, and there will now be a block at the top. Then the fault will make the other side to come down related to the block that is moving up. On the other side, a tier will make the other side to come down, and there will now be a block. So the mountain will be like a table coming down with steep sides and having a valley that is on the adjacent side. That top part that is extended upward, that is faulted, we refer to it as a block mountain or host, while the sides that is forming the valley, we refer to them as rift valley or graben. But faults and faulting can also make transverse valley and gap to occur. Let's look at continental landforms. We have mountains, we have plains, and we have plateaus. But there are 4 types of mountains. We have fold mountain, block mountain, volcanic mountain, and residual mountain. First, in our previous class, we discussed folding and faulting. We said folding is when stresses are initiated on the crust that now make the crust or the topography to now be folded in different layers of extension like nap, thrust fold, overfold, or anticline. A fold mountain is a mountain that is elevated above sea level to a considerable height. It is caused by compressional force due to the factors that we discussed before. They are the most widespread form of mountains and the most important forms of mountains. Examples of fold mountains in the world, we have mountains like Himalayas, Alps, Andes, and others. Then we also have block mountain. We said block mountain are caused by displacement due to fault that occur on either side of the block when compressional forces or tensional forces is acting on the earth's surface. Example of such fault is a normal fault that is caused by tension. Then we also have a thrust fault that is caused by compression. So when these two expansional forces or compressional forces take place on the earth's surface, it will now make one block to slip down in relative to another. So the block that is extended upward is called a block mountain or host, while the side that is depressed with steep side, the valley that is formed, is called a graben or rift valley. But these tensional and compressional forces acting on the body with displacement can also cause transverse valley or gap. Examples of block mountains that we have in the world, we have Hundstroke, East Africa Rift Valley, which is extended between Uganda and Zaire border. Then elsewhere in the world, we have the Vos and Black Forest of Rhineland. A third form of mountain is called volcanic mountain. We are told that the barosphere or core is in a high temperature that is also pressurized with viscous or magma, that when this magma tends to escape through a crack and find its way through the bedding planes of the earth and come to the surface, it now erupts and show fire and some other things like bomb and explode, make sound, and there's fire everywhere. So this magma will now flow depending on the type of magma that it is. If it's an acidic lava, because of the viscous form of the lava or its viscous nature, it will solidify rapidly. Then it will now form a mountain. So that mountain that is formed is called a mountain of accumulation. While fold mountain is called a mountain of elevation. So any other mountain that is caused by erosion is called mountain of denudation. Examples of mountains that are mountains of accumulation in the world, they are Cotopaxi, Chimborazo, which are found in Ecuador. Then we have Mount Mayon, and we also have Mount Fuji, which is found in Asia. Then closer to Africa, we have old mountains like Kilimanjaro. The fourth type of mountains, what we refer to as residual mountain. When you hear the word residual means something is remaining from its former nature or from something that was existing before. A piece of topography that was either leveled, undulating, or high, when acted upon by weathering, will give place to erosion of various forms that will price apart that piece of land. Then the duro crust, or the part that is resistant at the center, will now form a dome or a high mountain. Example of residual mountain is Mountain Monadnock, which is found in North America.